and shit, man. I can't wait to hear this. Let's bring in Philly.500. Dude,
what's up, Big Sil?
You're shaking your head like you have agita.
Oh man, this is craziness, dude. I feel like we're sitting on death row right now, and we're just waiting for the playoffs to start to take us out of our misery. That's honestly how I feel. Nick Kotite needs to go. He needs to go. I don't believe that there's any coming back from this. I think this is a guy that lost the locker room, and I really don't know how you get it back, because I've been thinking a lot about this. I went back and I watched the end of the Buffalo game, and then I watched the beginning of the 49ers game. I believe something happened between those two games, because when the Eagles came in that 49ers game, it wasn't the 49ers that put a blueprint out. That team was checked out before that game even started. And I think something happened internally during that week.
You think there was a dust up between the players? Or do you think there was a dust up between the coaches and the players?
No, I think there's a dust up. Here's what I think happened, and this is speculation. But you got A.J. Brown. He's not talking, right? He's not talking to the media and stuff, and it's not the media he's mad at. It's the coaching staff. Well, a person doesn't shut down like that normally, just shut down like that, unless you shut them down. I bet you, and I'm willing to bet, that A.J. Brown and other players went to those coaches and said, we need to do certain things. We need to change some things up. And they told them to pound sand. I think that's what happened. I think they shut those players down because he's frustrated. You have look, Jalen Hurts, look at him on the sideline. Look how he reacts. Look at A.J. Brown not talking. Look at the dust up between Sirianni and Devontae Smith the week prior. This whole team is checked out. They're checked out. You know, they also say, what do they say about stopping the run? It's an attitude, right? Players check out. They're not going to stop the run. How do you go from having the best run defense first 9 weeks to the absolute worst?
Coming to the conclusion that you're putting me in a shitty position to succeed week in and week out. It's easier to surrender, Philly.500. Look, I think, and I said this to Tone a couple minutes ago, that I think the players were buying into it all the way until week 11. And then when they went through that gauntlet, the gauntlet exposed the coaches. And once they kept putting them in poor positions to succeed, Seattle and Arizona, those games were lost in San Francisco's game. That because you're not buying in. And tell me this, how do you have this so-called phenomenal culture in the building and it turns in a month? You know how it turns? The players aren't bought in.
Yeah.
Do you think Nick Sirianni's coaching for his job these next two games?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you remember the last time I was on. I said if we lose one of the next 3 games and they lose in the first round of the playoffs, he's going to get fired. And I believe that's more true than ever. I think if he doesn't get out of that first round of playoffs, they're going to fire him. I just don't know how you come back. How do you gain the locker room back? I'm not saying it's impossible, but I mean, that team's checked out. You had the Arizona Cardinals, a 3-win team, didn't even punt the whole game. And then with the whole
ground, 5.5 yards a carry. They're horrible.
And they always say it's an attitude about tackling and playing defense, stopping the run. That tells me the player's heart isn't in it. And even in the first quarter of that game, the announcers were like, the Eagles just seem a little bit checked out. You could see it, how they react going through. It's almost like they're just going through the motions. And I don't believe a guy like A.J. Brown just stops talking because he just doesn't want to say something that might offend the coaches. I think he went to the coaches, and I think they shut him down. I think they shut all those players down. That's what I truly believe.
Who has frustrated you more this year when it comes to the Eagles? The offense, Sirianni, or the defense?
It's like what form of torture do you like the most? I think it's Sirianni. I think he's probably
it's like asking, do you want to be shot or hung?
Right. I mean, like I know on some level, I know the defense is fundamentally broken. Like I understand that on a certain level, but when you see the last series, right, the series before last, it was a tie game, 20-28. You have the 1st and 20. You do the 2 quarterback runs. You have to burn a timeout. Then you do a screen to Gainwell of all people. Like, to me, it was like this coach has no feel for this game, because the one thing that everybody knew was you needed to score a touchdown because you could not stop the Cardinals, and they were going to get the ball back because Gannon was smart enough to kick an onside kick, knowing that he would get time.
I was so proud of you on you being one of the very few people that did exactly what I did. As soon as he kicked it, I went like this.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. This
Yeah.
guy, that's a brilliant play. If he gets it, it's just the cherry on top of the cake. But he saved time. He knew they weren't going to shut it down. Once they kicked the field goal, you and I both knew Cardinals were going to win the game.
Yeah, the Cardinals were going to win the game. Even if the Eagles score a touchdown, he's going to go down there, score a touchdown.
Because they
and he's
had
going to go for, and he's going to go for 2.
He was going to go for 2.
Go for 2. Yeah, it was such a genius, smart move by him. And what really bothered me was that the only real move to counter that is you got to go score a touchdown.
Yes.
And they were playing for a field goal. Like, does this coach not have any feel for this game and what's going on? So I think he's the most frustrating piece of this whole thing.
Okay. I asked Tonis, and I want to hear your take on this. And I'm going to go back because I think it's relevant to what's happening now. When Wentz got hurt in 17, do you believe that Howie and Laurie thought that football team could just have the next man up mentality? Or do you think in that building they panicked? In Philly, where I'm going here is they panicked at 10-2.
Yeah.
This year, they panicked.
Yeah.
Why would I believe that they wouldn't have panicked then, and it was Doug who saved their ass?
Yeah. So what? You want to know, do I think the front office knew they were going to win a Super Bowl?
No, I'm saying this is the reason, and one of the reasons they had to get Doug out of the building is because they wanted to take complete ego control of that win in 17. And now when they built that team get this, they built a great team and they got beat by a lesser team in the Super Bowl 11 months ago. It was coaching. They have not put the proper – my thing is this organization panics.
Yes.
Doug covered their panic in 17 with a win.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they
do you
went
agree
back
with that?
Yeah, I do, because I think they do panic. I mean, the way they handled the Desai thing was a panic move. It was a completely panic move, and their defense looks worse. So yeah, they probably did panic in the front office, and I think Doug and Frank Reich were smart enough to change the offense enough to fit Foles, and it worked out, obviously.
Do they beat the Giants this weekend?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I want to show you something here. Like, again, I'm going to go back to this. How did this football team go from being all in, pushing the chips in, to being a Super Bowl team? And I asked my friend Tone this one too. Do you feel lied to and portrayed on how the organization portrayed Nick Sirianni and how they rolled him out there? And now that all of a sudden some rough waters have been out there, you looking at the guy, or was there always something where you went like this with the dude from the first press conference, but the 10-1 record, which is not wrong? Did it snow you, the 10-1 record, because you were like, yeah, the guy's winning, but he's like squirmy at the mic?
No, I have to keep it real. I thought, okay, yeah, all the things with the mic, and he says some stupid things, but you know what? Not only were we starting this season 10-1, we were just in the Super Bowl, and we had 32 straight weeks being the best record in the National Football League. So to me, I didn't. I thought, I thought he must be a pretty good coach. He's doing something right. It wasn't until that 49ers game and the way they came into that game that really made me think, well, what's wrong? Why is this team not ready to play this game when you've had all the stuff going on in the offseason with the 49ers? I thought it was really weird because I didn't think the Eagles were ready to play that game. I don't think they were ready to play the Dallas game. And, then obviously you could see it on the players' faces. So I think I thought he was a good coach, and I bought in because of the record. No, there's no doubt.
Okay, here's one for you. Who disappointed you more, Carson Wentz or Nick Sirianni?
Nick Sirianni.
Wow.
Nick Sirianni. Yeah. Because Carson Wentz, it was like you did get the Super Bowl in 2017, so that makes things a little easier. What I didn't like about Carson Wentz was I didn't like that he wanted to get traded. I thought he should have stuck around and tried to fight for his job. But with Nick Sirianni, what I'm seeing is a guy in my personal beliefs that doesn't care about anything around. He's just going to do it his way. So I look at a guy like that doesn't even have control of his own locker room, yet he claims to be a player's coach. A guy that talks about fundamentals all the time, yet this team has no fundamentals at all. So to me, Sirianni is more of a disappointment. This is a historical collapse, Sills. This isn't just a choke job.
More of a disappointment than Carson Wentz in your eyes in Eagle history.
Yes. This is a team. Listen, this is one of the most talented if you look at just the players, it's one of the most talented teams we've had. I can't remember a receiving core like that. One of the best offensive lines. I can't remember a team that has the talent that this team has on paper and then literally not use that talent to their benefit each and every week. They don't do it. What is Gainwell even playing for? Well, you look at DeAndre Swift on the field and you look at Gainwell, yet Gainwell gets more snaps in a game. Like there's just some really dumb things.
You want to listen to these numbers here. Listen to these numbers here offensively. You're going to, for the second year in a row, have two 1,000-yard receivers. You're going to have a running back over probably 1,100 yards rushing.
Right.
You're going to have a quarterback probably 4,000 yards passing. And you were less effective this year than you were a year ago, and you threw for less yards.
Yeah.
You were 9th last year in passing. You're 16th this year. How can you be less effective? It's because of the turnovers. They put him in a position. I think they're really hurting this kid's development.
Yeah, that's also the other concern with me. If I have that much invested in Jalen Hurts and I have a coach that has lost the locker room and doesn't really know what to do with him, I mean, I'm sorry, but 2 runs in a row on first and second down in that sequence the other day, it's just like it's crazy to me. Why, when you have a quarterback with a hurt knee, why are you running him so much? It doesn't make sense to me. I think that the Eagles have to take into account Jalen Hurts and his development, whether you keep this guy or not. At the very least, you have to bring a guy like Frank Reich in next year, somebody to take over the offense. At the very least. But Sills, I don't think this guy can make it. I don't think he can make it to this year.
If he loses to the Giants and Tyrod Taylor. By the way, they got Saquon Barkley. They're going to watch the film on what the Cardinals did. I don't think the Giants are any less talented or any more talented than Arizona, right? I don't think they're probably the same. Okay, right? How hot does the hot seat get for him? Does the furnace get turned up exceptionally high? Is this guy in Hades by the time Monday comes, man? Is he in room Hades?
I'd have fired his ass this week. I think you have a better chance to go far in the playoffs firing him and getting the locker room back than having him continue to coach. That's how bad I think this is. I really don't know if they're going to beat the Giants. I can see the Giants winning that game. This team can't do anything. I think they're dead men walking going into the playoffs. The guy's talking about taking out his starters if the Dallas scores. Like, shut up. I just don't want to hear him anymore. You know, you can't beat the Cardinals. You might not beat the Giants. And then I don't know how you're going to go beat anybody in the playoffs at this point.
Take your Wait a minute. Take your starters out on defense. I'll have to get a practice squad roster sheet because I don't know who's on your team then. Dude, if you take, wait a minute, Tone, I mean, Philly, think about this. If you take your starters out on defense, you'll give up 70 points to the Giants.
Right. And if I'm the Giants, I'm running Barkley 40 times. I'm giving him 40 carries. You can't stop the run. Every three downs, you're going to get a first down.
Hey, and he gets Devontae Smith hurt.
Yeah. I mean,
wait a minute. Blocking for Kenny Gainwell. I was talking to everyone yesterday. I said, well, if I'm going to use that play, I'm going to turn that dynamic around. Gainwell's going to block for Devontae. I want the ball in Devontae's hands, not Kenny Nobody well.
Right.
Kenny,
you know what's so
Gainwell.
crazy is
your fascination with that guy
is
like Trump's fascination with Stormy Daniels.
It's not going to end well. That's
right. You're going to be in a courtroom. It's not going to be well.
Gainwell, look, I don't get it. I mean, every time it's like you watch the whole year, every time Swift gets going, they pull him out and put Gainwell in. And they put him in for like whole entire quarters. Why that whole sequence? See, like that sequence to me is such a panic sequence. It's a coach that does not know or have any feel for the game. He doesn't have a feel for what's going on. And he's panicking about getting 3 points instead of trying to score a touchdown. And you run it twice. You have to burn it. They burn a timeout to call that screen to Gainwell.
Yeah, that's
like you had to burn a timeout.
Your son, what's his name? Julian Laurie. The kids up there playing like Madden. And think
this is
like
what's
going on with the analytics.
This should be like the next Revenge of the Nerds movie.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Can you imagine being in that room with like Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, and Julian Laurie? It must be like the room where you go like this. Hey, in the dodgeball game, I'm going to smash that guy's face in with the dodgeball. You get that guy over there, and then you get Howie. Finish him last. We'll all converge on him. Those are the guys you knock out a dodgeball right away. Because you know why? Those are the guys with the protractors and the ruler,
the protractor, the pencil pocket pencil.
Yeah, or like you could throw Patricia's ass in that thing too if you want with that pencil behind his ear.
Oh yeah, it's just like this is like Revenge of the Nerds 4.
Yes,
the nerds destroy an NFL team. That's like the sequel.
That the only thing you would ever see behind Big Sills and Philly.500's here would be a chopstick because we just got out of a Chinese restaurant.
That's about right. That's right. Ain't no way I'm doing a pencil. Guys calculating the calculations. Yes.
Okay. Do both coordinators get replaced in the offseason?
Yes. Yeah. I think at the very minimum, you're going to get 2 new coordinators. At the very minimum. Now, I honestly don't think Sirianni's going to make it. The only way I think Sirianni makes it is he's got to win at least one playoff game. He's got to at least get to the divisional round. I don't think if he doesn't, look, this is an epic collapse. So they're going to write this collapse in history books.
Would you agree? I think that Arizona loss, you're going to remember that loss for the next 5 years.
Yeah. That's got to be one of the worst losses I remember in years. You
think that's the biggest loss in the last 10 years?
I mean, if you want to
non-playoff,
take out non-playoffs and Super Bowl, yeah, I would think so. I mean, with what was at stake? You just had Detroit lose. You control your way to winning the division. And you have the second seed. Instead, you give the Dallas Cowboys, a team that's actually good at home, you give them 2 playoff games at home now. It has to be one of the worst losses, and it has to be one of the worst efforts I've ever seen.
So how was the Philly 500 crew dealing with this enormous collapse? I mean, I know Harrisburg, you're too young for this. There's a place called 3 Mile Island. That place had a nuclear like reactor
Right.
situation when I was a
Oh,
young
I know.
kid.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Harrisburg is and it's about an hour and a half from Harrisburg to Philly. So I'm just wondering, are you guys looking at this thing like a Chernobyl slash 3 Mile Island meltdown kind of deal here that's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. Where you just have to blow the whole thing up. You know, I don't think from the players. Like I tend to believe that the players are upset for a reason. And when, if I'm the owner, if I'm a GM, I'm going to listen to my players, and what they're saying about AJ Brown not talking to the media. And what they're saying is that a lot of the players agree with him. They're just not handling it the same way. And I actually respect AJ Brown for not trying to blow smoke up everybody's butt and say, "Oh, we just got to do this."
Yeah.
He's saying, "No, I'm not going to say anything, because if I do, I have to tell you the truth." I kind of respect that. So I do.
I backed up on calling him T.O. Brown now because I think I think what he's trying to tell people, I'm not ripping anybody. I'm not ripping my teammates. I'm not ripping the fans. I'm ripping the coaches.
Right.
I think that's totally what he's aiming at. And that's why Sirianni had today, get this, he had to address it because the question was asked to him, have you had a conversation with AJ? And again, those dummy, cringy responses of his, instead of just telling the interview guy, yeah, we had a conversation. It's between the player and myself, and end it there. Don't go into your cringy, well, we're boys, kumbaya, we threw my arms around each other, we were swapping spit, then we had a couple beers and we're ready to go out chasing hookers. Hey, it's all good and everything. I mean, like, hey, that's another thing. Couple last questions here. Sirianni, have you ever heard him criticize a player?
No, I don't think I've heard, not specifically.
Isn't it weird by a coach never to say something where a guy's not playing well?
Yeah, I guess.
Can you
I
imagine
think
Mike Tomlin? Can you imagine Mike Tomlin in a four you lose 4 or 5, and you got that talent? Can you imagine Mike Tomlin walking up to the microphone going, yeah, this is all my fault. The coordinators are doing a great job. Everybody's great. The quarterback's playing well.
Right.
Or does Mike Tomlin get out there and go, that guy's not doing very well? And by the way, that guy right there's got a lot of noise in his life. George Pickens needs to straighten his ass up. And if he doesn't, I'll have a conversation with him. Dude, that guy, you're sitting there going, okay. Then he goes out and gets 195 yards the next weekend, and he wins 2 games in a row with Mason Rudolph.
Right. Yeah.
One of the reindeers on Santa's sleigh.
Right. I think Nick Sirianni sees himself as a player's coach. But, when you have a wide receiver, star wide receiver, doesn't want to even talk now, and then you throw him the ball one time in the second half, you're not listening to your players at all.
Players coach. Whoever dubbed him that, a player's coach.
I think that's how he sees himself. Just by the way he talks. That's what I think.
Philly,
he's got the shirts.
I don't want a butt buddy as my coach. I want a coach. I want a coach who's going to be like Mike.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you. Listen, I thought, like, man, after that San Francisco game, this coach needs to put his foot up their butts and get on this team because they weren't ready to play. But now I realize it ain't the players, it's him. Those players, I mean, if you go back to that Buffalo game, we were talking about this team never quits. This team's always in it. They just keep coming. You don't go from that to you can't do anything. You can't win anything.
The players stop playing.
Yes, exactly. That's my point.
And if he's a player's coach, Philly, how does a player's coach get his players to stop playing? You know how it is? You don't buy into the guy because you think he's full of shit.
Yeah. And my bet, and I'm willing to bet this will come out later, that the players did approach him and he wasn't receptive to what they were saying because he wants to do things his way. and not the right way. I mean, every week we
No,
know.
you mean Howie's way, not his way.
Howie's way, whoever's way. But, listen, why is the crowd in Philly yelling, run the ball? How come they know that and he doesn't? You know what I'm saying? Like it's so easy what he has to do to fix a lot of these issues, but he refuses to do it every week. Every week. So he's not listening to the obvious things. He's trying to stick a square peg in a round hole. And I think these players I think they checked out on him. I think they checked out.
What's the score Sunday?
Oh God.
And look how fed up you are.
because I can literally close my eyes and I can really see the Giants.
Could you see 2019
game.
Giants?
Yeah, I could. I could. I'm gonna say I don't even know.
Wow.
16-13.
Holy shit, man. We're going back to the 70s here with Joe Pisarcik and Jaworski days.
I don't see this thing getting better. I don't think this is a thing where you can fix it. I think if they would have, if it's something that could have been fixed, they would have fixed it already. This is getting worse every week, Sills. Every week we hear more and more, we got to do this, we got to change this, but every week it's worse and worse. So what's the next level of after the Arizona game? What's worse than that? Probably 16-13.
I'll say this to you. If he loses that Giants game, I will tell you this. I don't think there's anything he could do to save his job except win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Wait a minute. That was so well done. Finally here. This is going to be even more of a pathetic question to you. And I'm almost embarrassed to ask you it, but I will. Listen to this ridiculous question. I have to put my head down to ask you because I can't believe it. Ready?
Yeah.
Who gives you a better chance of winning an opening round game, New Orleans or playing the Bucks? Think about New Orleans. Alvin Kamara, Olave, that whole group. They're decent on defense. Then you got Mike Evans to deal with. They're better than they were when they played them last. But you have to go to Tampa and play them down there.
And you already beat them once. So
you already beat them once. They're going to know what to do.
Easy.
Yeah. Todd Bowles is going to know what to do.
I think New Orleans would be easier, but I don't think it's likely. I at this point I don't. You
don't think they could beat the Bucks or the Saints?
I don't think so. No, I don't think they're winning the first round playoffs. I think it's over. I think it's done. I think these players checked out. I think these players are going through the motion the next 2 weeks, and we go. That's why I said I feel like we're on death row. We're just waiting for our execution day. I don't see this. I don't see how this team recovers. Now, maybe I'm being over dramatic. I don't know. But every week it gets worse and worse.
Oh, it does.
And they don't do anything about it. So at this point, just listening to A.J. Brown in the press conference, and he made sure he told the media, it ain't you. Okay? That's a guy that he wasn't even angry. He checked out. He's checked out. When you don't care about something that you're not even getting mad anymore, I don't know. I don't think this coach can get. And I hate saying this. This is horrible. I can't believe we're in this situation. But I don't see how this coach can get this locker room back.
No.
Now maybe the players and they step up.
The players
in their
can do
leaderships and they do it.
The players could get the locker room back.
But what I don't want is I hate saying this, but I don't want them to go on some run and then keep this coach around one more year so that he can only do this stuff next year to us. I want him gone.
I want this guy out of here, man. I want him gone. So hey, who's a better coach, Rich Kotite or Rich Kotite? Put these in order. Rich Kotite, Chip Kelly, Nick Sirianni.
In order from best to worst, or
yes.
Worst? from best to worst. Number one would be Chip Dip Kelly. Would have to be better than both those guys.
Three guys you hate a lot.
I hate Nick Kotite. Nick Kotite may be the worst of them. I'll put Rich Kotite 2 and Nick Kotite the worst. Here's the problem with Nick Kotite. He literally collapsed a 10-1 team that was 2 games up on first place in the conference.
And you were playing last week against a shitty 3-win team for home field advantage.
Yeah, all you had to
NFC
do
East was in. Hey, I'm gonna end this with just. I want you to know something because I know this will put the cherry on top of everything for you. I got a text message from Stephen Jones thanking you, Philly.500.
Me.
Hey, thanking you for having your team in an epic collapse so that they could win the NFC East. And hey, the Cowboys are very thankful to you and your show for continuing. Hey, since The Rock gave me a shout out, right. Stephen Jones is giving you a shout out right now for helping and ripping the Eagles as they go through their colossal. Look at Tom. So hey, look at you guys with the the Cowboys, and you know how bad that is for Tone and you when you mention.
Oh
Cowboys.
Yeah, well because we just gave them 2 home games. We literally just gave them 2 home games. They can win at home. They're good at home.
Tone,
they're
come
good
on
at
here
home.
for a second.
Get over here, Tone. But they're good at home, so they get 2 home games now.
The Cowboys want to just thank you so much for allowing that to, blowing the Cardinal game. Do you know that they looked in the locker room and they went like this, the players, and almost you could hear it. They said, Bruce Mays, who's part of Jerry's upper office, goes like this. You could collectively hear people going like this. Oh my God, we just won the NFC East.
Oh, I know.
Did I hear moaning in the room?
It's really crazy to me because you just put the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game. That's how I look at it. They're not going to lose 2 home games. They'll lose to the Niners at home. On the road. They'll lose on the road, but they're not gonna lose those 2 games. That was our path to get to the NFC Championship game, and we just handed it to them.
Yeah. I mean, 500 just laid it out perfectly. You handed the Cowboys 2 home games in a row.
Damn.
And they're going to the NFC Championship.
Your arch enemies, you guys gave, instead of them earning it. Maybe the curse is real. Maybe, what was it? Since 2011, nobody's won back-to-back?
Yeah.
Maybe that curse is real.
But that's why.
You know what's going to happen this week, right? The Dallas Cowboys are going to lose to Washington, and we're going to lose to the Giants. You watch. It's going to happen.
Why don't I think that's not out of the realm of possibility?
It's not. We're going to be like, Dallas just lost, and we're going to be up like 7 points with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And we're going to blow it. We're going to blow the whole
game. Tyrod Taylor's going to come back and
Tyrod Taylor
and etch his name next to Drew Lock as an epic win this year. Is that right?
Yeah. That's what'll happen.
If you notice, 500 and I are wearing all black for a reason.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'm surprised you guys don't have an armband. Hey, an armband that says NS. What's that for? Nick Sirianni, man. Okay, that's his armband. We'll all be wearing armbands. He loses to the Giants. I'll tell you that.
Listen,
I mean, hey, Tone, do you feel like you're basically sitting on death row and you're just waiting 2 weeks for execution day? Because that's how I feel.
I'm so glad you said that, 500. Literally, yesterday I was asked by Rob Ellis. He said, so where are you with this team? I said, honestly, I'm just waiting for it all to be over. I'm waiting for it all to be over. Because the defense can't stop a nosebleed. They let the Cardinals look good. So what's going to happen if the Rams or the Buccaneers play them this go around, right? I mean, they blew a golden opportunity, and that's even more reason why Nick Sirianni doesn't deserve to have his key fob anymore. Because not only did you blow a 2-game lead in the conference, but you also handed the division to the Cowboys. And now Jeffrey Lurie lost out on at least two home games. So when you think about it from that perspective, he lost you money, he lost you playoff seeding, he lost you key games and matchups. And listen, this has been a collapse by epic proportions for Nick Sirianni and his team.
So we're looking at you two guys want to euthanize Nick Sirianni's coaching career.
I don't think you have a choice. You got to put him out of his misery.
Right.
You know?
You ever read, you ever read Old Yeller?
Euthanize the guy's career.
Yeah, Old Yeller. That's right. Nick Sirianni, Old Yeller.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got rabies.
Just take him out back and just let him have it.
Jesus criminy, man. Call of the Wild. Put the dog to rest, man.
You lose a locker room the way he's lost it. I honestly don't know what the alternative. How do you get a lock? How do you get the locker room?
If you were in that locker room, 500, if you two were in that locker room and you experienced this, wouldn't he lose you?
Yeah.
Oh, completely.
Especially, and I believe those players did go up to him and did talk to him. I think that's why A.J. Brown is so shut down.
Don't they have a leadership council? Don't they have?
They probably did, and they probably went to him and he said, "No, we're not changing." I mean, you don't shut down. A.J. Brown doesn't shut down because he just doesn't want to say that. Like, there's got to be more to it. I believe that these players have already spoken to the coaches, and they didn't want to change.
I'm so glad you said that, 500. Let's assume they already spoke to the coaches about their issues, right? And things still aren't changing. That implies what? That implies what? Your coach is not in control.
Right.
And that team, once they smelled that and it got solidified with the Desai situation, they realized, oh no, this kid, this guy's a poser. He's not I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't trust this guy.
And remember something too, Tone. The offensive guys are going to be more in tune with the organization. But you know why the defensive guys aren't? Most of them are mercenaries. And I say this like this. Check it out. Those guys aren't homegrown guys. The entire linebacking core is not. Many guys in your secondary. There's Hassan Reddick is a mercenary.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be questioning whether they're going to even bring him back.
Did you guys see Hassan Reddick and Jason Kelsey's recent press conference? I've never seen in Philly.500. Let me get your thoughts on this too, right? I've never seen Hassan Reddick speechless. He just kept saying, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. He kept, they want to share their feelings so bad. But all they can say is, I don't know. That's all they can say.
Yeah. Yeah, because they want to talk about the coaches. And that's why, when people get down on A.J. Brown, I'm like, I think he's a leader because he's saying, I'm not going to bullcrap anybody. I'm just not going to say anything. But I mean, did you see how they said they dropped Hassan Reddick into coverage more than any time?
Yeah.
In any game. Why would
you see him
you
go
do
over
that?
to the sidelines? You see him go over to the sidelines shaking his head?
Yeah, because I mean, he's your best pass rusher. He's been your only consistent pass rusher, to be honest.
Hold on, guys. I got to get you guys something.
No. I mean, 500. You're so right. I mean, he's been the most consistent pass rusher. Yet you keep dropping him back in coverage.
Keep dropping him back. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, right? You look at Nick Sirianni right now, and the way things are going. Like, how much time do you think he has left realistically? Obviously, we would fire. Hey, listen, Sills, what the hell? What's going on here? What's
what satanic stars?
I'm sorry.
He's putting up satanic symbols right there.
What's going on here? Wait a minute. What's going on here? Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I don't know. Hey, I'm sorry, man. It just
No, you're not doing it to me.
I don't know what's happening, man.
I'd keep that thing in the garage if I were you.
You're not doing it to me. You're not doing it to me today. Nope. You're not doing it. You're not
doing it. You hear like voices and ghosts at night? It's probably coming from that satanic helmet.
No. I just hear this going up at night.
Hey, 500. 500. You smell that? It smells like a latrine or something. What is that?
Oh.
It does.
As I end here, guys, I just want to once again, Stephen Jones, congratulating you guys on giving the Cowboys the NFC East. So, I mean, again, against the Cardinals.
Against the Cardinals.
Yeah. Hey, what's a worse loss, Tone? Cardinals or the Seahawk loss?
Cardinals.
Oh, Cardinals.
Cardinals.
is epic proportion. I mean, when they write history books about teams that collapse, this is going to be the number one team on there. Because to me, this is the most epic collapse I've ever seen for an NFL team. 10-1, 2 games up in first place. Now you're the 5th seed, and I don't think you get out of the first round of playoffs. And Tone, you said, what's it going to take? Just one more playoff game, and he's gone. Because I don't think they're winning the first round. And if they don't win the first round of playoffs, I don't think he can stay. He's got to at least win at least one round of playoffs. You
can make an argument the collapse started second half of the Super Bowl. The collapse started there. And then that's when we ain't been the same since. We ain't been the same since.
Maybe the doubt started there. By the way, real quick before we go, Tone, can you show that Hurts thing one more time?
Yeah.
Is that like the Jalen Hurts mini me shirt? What is that? What is that? Mini me?
It's so funny. My dad got me this for my birthday. He got a
Is it signed?
For my birthday. It's a little signature right there.
Killer. Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So it was
It looks like the mini me jersey. It's all good. I got it.
Hey, listen, I had to find something. You see, I got the Hurt Smitty poster right there behind me. I'm legitimately locked in on this team like no other, and this is why it hurts so bad. Philly.500. I told Sills, I said, listen, the NFL has found a way to monopolize our lives, and they've created legal cults. What sport do you know was able to tell Jesus to move over on Sunday? So
done, yeah.
So like we're so locked in on this team. What's going on with them right now was like it's like our dog died.
Yeah.
Excuse me, God. Listen here. Touchdown Jesus took a knee. I gotta go because it's Giants and it's Eagles. I'm sorry. Hey, listen. I'll put it in the basket some other time, but I gotta go. Goodbye.
Hey, when I was growing up, this is true. I made sure I go to confession every Saturday and get all my sins forgiven because I was afraid the Eagles would lose if I forgot something. Like that's how bad it was. Like I used to go to confession because I thought if there was anything against me, God may make the Eagles lose. You look at that. You got a satanic voodoo helmet right there with that satanic star.
Hey, I'm out of here, man. Listen, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. 500 as always. It's a pleasure, my friend. I'm out of here.
All right, Tony. See you, man.
Yeah, he's like Xander. He can't take that BS with that thing too. By the way, I got to hurry up and get that helmet out of here because for some reason I get Juju sent over from Philly, and my connection completely goes haywire.
That's
if
not.
I don't put the cowboy helmet away somewhere.
Yeah, because it's satanic. It's just a satanic star, man.
It's more like a latrine to some. Awesome stuff, my friend. I appreciate
you, my
it.
man.
You got it. Thank you so much,
All
our
right.
boy Philly.500. Don't forget to go over and watch him live. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Please hit the like button. By the way, our good friends at Hooters, Gary's watching. Love Gary and all the great folks from Hooters. And again, all the locations from Rhode Island all the way down through New Jersey, Delaware, all the way down to King of Prussia. You can go to northeasthooters.com. Great specials. Tuesdays, the wings, buy 10, get 10 free. Happy hours, man. Lunch specials, Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 3 p.m. Boneless wings. Happy hours, Monday through Friday, 6 items, $6. Don't forget tomorrow. By the way, we got Ice Cube on tomorrow. That'll be at 4:30. Wing Wednesdays, 1983, the year the place was founded. Again, if you don't want to go into the locations, you can always go to the app also at hooterstogo.com, northeasthooters.com. That's northeasthooters.com. And when you roll in, do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near. Shop, have a beer. Christmas shopping shouldn't be hard. Give your friends a Hooters gift card.
This year, stuff their stockings and yours too with a one-size-fits-all gift card. Buy a $25 Hooters gift card and receive a $5 Santa's bonus card. Make it Hooters for the holidays.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near.